My name is Lexi, and today my informative speech is going to discuss the locust swarms in Africa and how they have grown and affected the crops and people surrounding it. To first understand this problem, you must understand the insects themselves. Locusts are very interesting and they require a very moist environment to survive. If they are not given this moist environment, they will not breed successfully and will not live a very long life. What most people do not know about these insects is that they can travel very great distances in a short amount of time. Due to the moist conditions in Africa and the abundant number of crops to eat, the locusts have begun swarming and have started devastating crops all over Africa. To understand why these swarms are taking over Africa, you must understand how they work and what environments they need to thrive. If locusts are put in an environment where they are comfortable, it can cause them to breed very quickly and create a swarm. In her article, Baker states that warm weather and unusually heavy rains at the end of 2019 created the moist soil necessary for hatching eggs. From there, the insects spread rapidly, resulting in one of the worst outbreaks the region has seen in more than 70 years. Not only can these small insects breed very quickly, but they can also travel a very significant amount of distance in one day alone. Having these devastating locusts are bad enough to be in one spot, but for them to travel the world is not good. Now that we have covered how fast they can breed and how far they can travel, now we can discuss the impact of these insects on crops and people. Locust swarms have proven to have detrimental effects on crops, especially when they are giving so many opportunities to breed. According to National Geographic, each locust can eat its weight in plants each day, so a swarm of such size would eat up to 423 million plants in one day alone. Destroying crops like this can lead to starvation in Africa because without these crops, the people will struggle to keep producing the amount of food that they need to survive. I know that most of what I have said in this video has been negative about this issue, but there are things that can be done to stop the spread of these insects. Stopping the new generation of eggs of being hatched is imperative because if they do not stop, the effects of this generation will be detrimental. Kennedy mentions in her article that the only effective response is aerial spraying pesticides directly on the locusts to kill them. If the new generations of eggs were to hatch, the effects on the crops would be so catastrophic that it would be almost impossible to come back from. The numbers of locusts would produce 20-fold, and it would be incredibly big number of locusts and would be much worse than it is right now. And without these perfect environmental conditions and enough crops for them to keep producing like this, the insects will be incredibly hard to stop, and that will not get any better if the environment does not stop being moist. And I know that many people do not listen to news that does not surround this area or does not have anything to do with them, but I believe that this should be a more important current event. The people dealing with these insects on the front line need help to stop them, because having warm and moist conditions is what created a comfortable environment for them, and once they started to breed, it was incredibly hard to stop. With the conditions in this part of the world staying moist most of the time, these insects are being given a multitude of opportunities to breed. Keeping up with global current events is necessary to be aware of what's going on in our world today, because if we were not aware of what's going on in our world today, that would be ignorant of us as a generation to not pay attention to what is going on outside of our area. So I believe that more people should keep up with what's going on outside of just our continent and our country, because there are other issues going on in the world today that we are not aware about, and the locust issue in Africa has been an issue for a while, but it has gotten worse in 2018 and will continue to get worse if they do not receive the help that they need. And because of the recent world events that are going on around us today, surrounding the new outbreak that's going around, it has halted the help that these people are getting in Africa, because we cannot give them the help that they need, because we need help ourselves. So I believe that as a world we need to come together, because there are issues going on in every other continent and not just ours alone. And I believe that to solve these issues we need to work together, because the earth is not nice, and I believe that they need help to take care of this issue, because locusts have been an issue in Africa for a very long time. So thank you for listening, and I hope that this brought more information to you about other events going on in other parts of the world, and I hope that this shows you that people should try to keep up with what's going on in other things besides just what's going on in America. So thank you for listening, and thank you.